I'm Sam here at Rick Jones Pianos with a D.H. Baldwin Petite Baby Grand, built in the 90s, around 1995. It was built for Baldwin by Samick in South Korea at a time when polished ebony finishes were becoming more popular in this country. Baldwin, being an American company, had specialized more in satin finishes, especially satin wood finishes, but there was an increased demand for the really super shiny polyester gloss ebony finish. Baldwin did make, as I recall, some lacquer polished ebony grands, but not at this size and not so inexpensively. This was meant to be sort of someone's entry to the line of Baldwin grand pianos at the time, someone's first Baldwin grand. It would be the least expensive at the time. And it has a Samick scale. It's made by Samick, same as a Model SG140, which we have had in here frequently, and I'm always impressed how they turn out. It's granted a really small piano, only 4'7" long. They don't get much shorter than this. And I'm always really impressed with how well they turn out. The bass has more power than you would expect, and when we work on these pianos, and we do, we regulate the actions, they always turn out to be really smooth and responsive, and especially a nice sort of belt-like sweet treble sound, which in my opinion, it reminds me a bit of how Baldwins were made. Baldwins had a sweet bell-like sound in the melody range, and well, Samick had their own ideas about how a piano should sound, but in this case, it's kind of similar. So I think it's a good fit. They put the name D.H. Baldwin on it to distinguish it from the normal Baldwin pianos they made in this country. And the D.H. was, you could call it, it's not really a stencil, it's the founder of the company, Baldwin, was Dwight Hamilton. And over the years, Baldwin had used a number of other brand names, many of which were named after members of the family, like Hamilton, Howard. Hamilton would be the H here in the Baldwin. So it was just one way Baldwin distinguished different product lines over the years to distinguish it from the name Baldwin pianos. And so that's the story of this piano. Baldwin got together with Samick to make this piano for them, sell relatively inexpensively in this country for those who were just getting into grands and were maybe limited on budget or space. And likewise that applies today. If you really don't have much space, but if you have to have a grand piano, I would strongly encourage you to consider this piano. As I said, I've only ever seen maybe once or twice a grand piano smaller than this, and it didn't play nearly as well. In my opinion, Samick knew how to design a piano to play pretty decently, even at such a small size. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I kind of forgot to think about the tone and the touch. I think it's a little bit on the mellow side. It's not perfectly neutral, and if you play it loudly, there's a brilliance to the sound. Overall, I think I'm going to call it a 4 on a scale from 1 to 10, from mellow to bright. It skews a little bit more toward the mellow side, and the warm sound reminds me a lot of what I've seen in some Baldwin grands. The touch is neutral, really very smooth and responsive, and that's the type of results we get when we do a proper regulation on our pianos, as piano teachers expect us to do. That's why they send their students here. And so we did that, we achieved a good result on this piano, and the keys are very smooth, and there's no jerking motion or irregularities going from the key to key. It just feels very even and neutral and smooth across the keyboard. Not too hard, not too easy. So 5 it is on a scale from 1 to 10 for the touch. And of course, like everything else we sell, it has a 10-year warranty, all parts and labor, and 100% lifetime trade-in guarantee. Just please make sure to have it tuned twice a year by a piano technician, and put it in an environment of moderate and stable humidity. That's important for any piano, no matter the brand or the size. And if you do decide in the future that you want to upgrade to a larger piano, if you end up having space later on, you will be welcome to return to us and trade this piano in precisely for its instrument sales price. That's what we mean by 100% lifetime trade-up guarantee. And for those who are working their way up and maybe move into a larger space, or just have to have a larger piano, we often get pianos like this on trade from people who are working their way up to a larger piano. And that's certainly, I think, a good stepping stone to a nicer piano one day, if you wish. You don't have to take that option if you don't want to. It's not a very old piano. It's not very heavily used by its previous owner. It wouldn't look this good if it were heavily used. Our colleagues did a beautiful job buffing and polishing the finish. So we're confident in putting a 10-year warranty on this and even a lifetime trade-up on it, well beyond the 10-year warranty period. And you can expect to keep it for just as long as you wish, if you don't want to trade in anytime soon. So please stop by, try it out for yourself. You can play it along with anything else in our inventory, but if you can't make it, you can always give us a phone call or send us an email if you have any questions. Thanks.